Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today's weigh-in is going to be concerned with protein. That is the third macronutrient, the third of three macronutrients that we're going to be talking about in our weigh-in series. And of course, for our purposes, we want to focus on lean protein, and we're going to talk about what that is. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going to be continuing with the weigh-in every single Friday. I'm going to be skipping Fridays and coming in with things other than a weigh-in. I will check in with you once in a while with my weight. I just think I don't want this to get tedious for any of us. And we'll continue to focus on good health and exercise and keeping ourselves fit and as trim as possible. And we'll just do that as we go along. We have had an interesting experience over the past 10 days. My brand new refrigerator, less than a year old, went on the blink about 10 days ago. And the repairman came out on Friday and it needs a new compressor. I just could not believe it. It is a Samsung and it had rave reviews, and so I was fairly confident, but I've never had a refrigerator in all of my years have a compressor that has gone bad. And so our refrigerator is bare. And it has presented an interesting conundrum for us, not having our cold food readily available. We have to walk out to the garage and almost all the way back into the Kelvin lab where our other refrigerator is. And it has curtailed some of my eating, which is not a bad thing. However, here is my weigh-in for today. And as you can see, I am plateauing. But I look at plateauing as being on the edge of possibility. And so any day now, I'm going to break this plateau and start plummeting down again. And so I'm just keeping up the food plan that I've put myself on, and trying to eat well. I fall off the wagon and don't, it's part of life. And so I'm not hard on myself when that happens. And I'm just going to keep plugging along, and perched on the edge of possibility is how I like to look at it when we plateau. And perhaps some of you are plateauing as well, but we're going to keep the faith and keep on plugging. In terms of lean protein, one of the things that I realized as I was reading research and articles on what is lean protein in the diet and what are the best of the lean protein foods that we should consider, is that, and I know that some of you already know this, but these three macronutrients are sometimes in opposition to each other in terms of what they recommend. For instance, in the healthy fats segment, we talked about saturated fats. We need to really watch out for saturated fats. In the lean protein, they highly recommend low-fat dairy, which has saturated fat. And so as we navigate our way through whatever food plan any of us are on, we need to do additional research on our own. And it's very easy to do that. You just simply plug in whatever macronutrient you want, and like whether it is complex carbs, healthy fats, or with today lean protein, and you'll get a list of foods. And on Healthline, which is one that I generally consult, they will give you the pros and cons of the food. It's good for this reason, but watch out for it because of this reason. And so it might seem like things are in opposition. And we just need to navigate our way through all of these opposing views on the same foods and discover what works best for us. And I'm going to share some of the things that have worked best for me as we talk about lean proteins. So what is a lean protein? It is a protein that is high in protein, low in fat, low in calories. And why do we need protein in our body in the first place? Well, for one thing, it builds muscle, and we would all rather have muscle than fat. And it also helps us with our weight loss if we focus on lean proteins. So I looked at list after list after list and compiled probably the top, 10 or 12 that were most frequently listed across everything that I looked at, so that we can talk about them a little bit. First of all is white flesh fish. Very good food that is high in protein and low in fat and calories. And that would include cod, halibut, grouper, tilapia, and bass, haddock. Any of those that have white flesh are really, really good for lean protein. I don't have an example of those, but also listed were the fatty fish, and that would be salmon. And I really like how this particular pack of salmon is packaged, because it comes in individual serving sizes that are also wrapped. And in fact, Jim, I think I'm going to leave these two out for us to have for dinner tonight.
You don't get a vote in that?
Is that okay with you, honey? We really like salmon. And this comes from Costco, one of our favorite stores, of course. And it is so convenient to just have these prepackaged and ready. I also have canned salmon when there is a good sale on salmon at any of the stores that we frequent. I buy enough salmon to can, and oh my goodness, this is really delicious. I eat it just right out of the jar sometimes, but I use it to make salads for lunches a lot. Also, you can buy, I've had this little stack of pink salmon for over a year. I purchased this in May of last year, and this is boneless, skinless salmon, and it comes in the size of cans just about like tuna cans. And this is also very convenient for the same reason that my home canned salmon is convenient. Also, tuna works well, and these fatty fish are not only lean protein, but they're high in fatty acids, which are really good for us as well. Omega-3 fatty acids. Then there is plain Greek yogurt. And if you can eat plain Greek yogurt, you have it over on Jim and me, because we have tried several brands of just plain Greek yogurt, and ugh, I can't stand to eat it just plain. But boy, if you can, I think that's great. Now, I use it in things in place of sour cream, so I use it that way. But we eat Greek yogurt. A lot of times we'll have Greek yogurt for breakfast, but it is the Greek yogurt that has a little bit of fruit added. The thing about Greek yogurt is that it has twice the protein that regular yogurt has. And so whatever you do with yogurt, you might want to focus on Greek yogurt for more protein. Then there are beans, peas, and lentils. And in our previous discussion with the other macronutrients, I've had beans out, so I decided to feature lentils today. And lentils come in several different varieties and several different colors. And these are very healthy, good lean protein. As we're thinking about lean protein, we should focus both on animal and plant lean protein. I have made a rainbow lentil soup that you put in a quart jar, and it's like a meal in a jar. And I will put the link to that recipe, to that video, on the end of this video, so you can check out our rainbow lentil soup where I used these different colored lentils. Then there is white meat poultry, and I just pulled these out of the freezer, and that would be turkey breast or chicken breast or chicken tenders, and the wings. Those are considered to be lean protein. And we like chicken tenders. This package is chicken tenders, and chicken tenders you can't see very well because of the frost, but they're these little strips, and they are part of the breast meat, a separate part of the breast meat that you can pull loose from the breast meat. And this is ground chicken, and it is 96% lean. So this is fantastic. This ground chicken, we use that for quite a few things too. So if we can focus on chicken that is high protein, to me, this is a lot of bang for our buck, because chicken, well, we bought some chicken, was it yesterday? Oh no, it was beef that we bought that was $5 a pound. Anyway, everything is expensive these days, but chicken is really a good choice for lean protein. One thing that we need to remember when cooking poultry and using the lean protein from turkey or chicken is to remove the skin, because the skin is quite fatty. And one of the studies that I read suggested that leave the skin on while you are cooking, because it keeps the meat more moist, and then pull the skin off before you eat it. So that's just a suggestion. Trouble is, I really love fried chicken with the skin on. One of my downfalls. Then low-fat cottage cheese. And when we talked about dairy in terms of the right kind of fats, I told you that we were going to full-fat dairy. This is just the last of our carton of low-fat. But in lean protein, they say low-fat is better, but the confounding thing is that when low-fat or no-fat is in place, the carbs are higher because they have to add sugar or other flavors so that you can stand to eat it. So it is a conundrum, and we just have to find our way through these types of things. And also they say low-fat or skim milk is best. And I was on skim milk for years and years and years. When I would drink whole milk, it tasted like cream to me. But now we're back on whole milk. So, you know, we just navigate as we go. Another one I don't have an example of is pork loin. And we have had pretty good success with cooking pork tenderloin on the Traeger and also by sous vide. We're going to be doing a video soon on how to sous vide meats. And if you don't know what I'm saying, it's sous vide, S-O-U-S-V-I-D-E. And it is a special way of cooking that I'm going to demonstrate. I don't know why I didn't think about doing this a long time ago. We have had our sous vide set up for 5 years. And I just have never done a video on it, but it's a great way to cook. And it is a great low-fat way to cook. And we do beef and pork and chicken that way. So we'll do a video on that. Another one that is mentioned in all the lists is shrimp, shellfish. And these are pre-cooked. And so we just break these out and break off a serving size, like right here, and let them thaw and have them for lunch quite a bit of time. And these are also a lot of bang for your buck in terms of getting protein. Be sure that you get the unbreaded kind. These are just plain, and we love them with a little bit of cocktail sauce or a little bit of lemon juice. I usually put them on a bed of lettuce with fresh veggies around, and it makes for a really nice lunch. Then there are nuts and seeds, and I've put those out several other times, so you have seen that. They also have healthy fats, and they're a good source of fiber. They have been linked to weight loss. And so a lot of times when I feel like a snack, I'll get into the nuts and take a handful of nuts. And we have cashews and almonds and pecans and walnuts in our cabinet all the time. Then there are eggs. These eggs are from my daughter's chickens. She brings us eggs every once in a while. They're so wonderful. Fresh eggs, if you have that opportunity, are great. We usually just get our eggs from the store. But for years, they featured egg whites and to just discard the yolk. Well, that has kind of gone by the wayside, although it's still clinging on for a lot of people. The egg white is where almost all of the protein is. And the great thing is that it is protein without much fat at all. The fat is contained within the yolk. But they have now identified other things in the yolk that are very helpful for you as well. And so the recommendation now is to eat whole eggs. So eggs are now considered a really healthy, lean protein choice. And then last is beef. And the recommendation is to use this sparingly. This is Angus ground beef, and it is 93% lean. And so this is really a good choice as well. There are other things about beef, and you can read about those as you do your own research, which is why they're recommending that we use that sparingly. Now, there are some words that are associated with both pork and beef that tell us that the cut is lean. Anything when you are shopping for beef that has the word loin or round in it signals that it is low fat, and then the protein is there. So that would mean tenderloin, round roast, round steak, sirloin, all of those are lean cuts. And for pork, it is chops and loin, like tenderloin pork or pork chops. Those are all low fat. And with pork in particular, you need to trim off the fat, but with all meat, do that. So that is basically what lean protein is all about. My focus is on these foods that I have here for you, obviously, because that's what we have. And I especially like fish and chicken and shrimp because there's a lot of bang for your buck in terms of protein. And I'm still really focusing on 30 grams of protein per meal for a total of 90 grams of protein per day. So for all of us who are perched on the edge of possibility for a future plummet in our weight, this is really good information. So thank you so much for being with us, and I wish us all a good, wonderful, weight-dropping week ahead. So we will see you very soon for another video.